We're going to do a little bit of a show and tell today about the nursery that I've been working on. You know, it's almost February 1st now, and I've already been planting seeds for a couple weeks. Started in the Germination Chamber, and you know, we've expanded down to the hoop houses down there. I've got to bring down this 4x4 timber to the hoop house right now, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do today.
What are you carrying?
I'm taking this 4x4 timber down. We're going to use it to make.
Oh, you just said that.
Yeah, we're going to use this to make a second set of hoops inside of the hoop house, so it's like a double-walled situation, and we'll show you that in just a second.
Hello. How are you doing, my friend?
Okay, so these hoop houses were open on both sides, but I've added end walls to capture all that heat and humidity and the solar heat that comes in. You'd be surprised how hot it gets in there. Then yesterday I made little doors on each side of the hoop house too, so I can get in without crawling.
Cool.
So yesterday I made a little seed starting area in here, something comfy. You know, I got a nice little chair right here, and fill up, you know, my trays right here, and then, you know, plop them down. I'm labeling everything with this little label printer right here.
Wow.
Very highly suggested, this printer, the Brother P-Touch. I've had it for years, and the labels that come out of this are super sticky. I mean, they last on the trays. And then, you know, this time of year, still getting down to like 26 degrees at least one day a week. This is kind of the most basic way to add some extra protection to get the germination going quicker too. Kind of like creating a little chamber underneath this plastic. There's plastic and row cover. And that's just sitting right on top. If you go into the other hoop house with me now, I'll show you what we're going to upgrade this situation to in just a moment. So this setup is really cool. We've got the plastic over the hoop and then the row cover underneath. We're about to uncover it right now and I'll show you. So all of these trays were started in the Germination Chamber, which is my walk-in cooler that I just put a space heater in, turned off the cool air, and then I've been using that to germinate. Because it's a, you know, insulated box, it never freezes in there and it holds that temp from the heater really well. So it's just a good way to get that extra early start to get all my transplants going. But then once they germinate, you have to be really careful in there because there's no light, so they'll get leggy super quick. And that's what happened to these right here. I left them in there one day too long, and then they got too leggy. But I'm leaving them in here because there's still some late sprouters in there. The ones that are too leggy, I'll just, you know, cut off, and we'll keep the better looking ones. But it has been getting warm enough, so I'm starting the other hoop house there and just germinating out here as well, and then finishing off on the 20 trays that I've got left in the Germination Chamber. And then we're going to add, you know, another set of the hoops just like these on this side of the hoop house, and just a little narrow walkway. I've added irrigation in here as well. These little pop-up 4-inch sprinklers with an adjustable 360-degree nozzle on top. And just, I'm going to walk out here and turn it on. If you just stand over there, you won't get wet. There's a solenoid valve in here that's wired to underground all the way to the barn. So it's on a timer when I need it to be. Right now everything's staying so wet that I've just been doing it manually, and also I've been using the hose with the siphon attachment for the fish fertilizer. So I'm just kind of doing things carefully and manually right now. Once the plants get bigger, more established, and one of the hoop houses is full, or both are full with more mature plants, then we'll put it on the timer, and there's not much to risk at that point. But right now I'm just going to turn it on manually right here. The thing about transplants and growing in your nursery is that because you have to water them so much, it really drains out any kind of fertilizer or like nutrient that's in that soil. And so I like to add a little bit of liquid fertilizer on top of it. This is like a fish, let's see, Brown's fish hydrosate is made from fresh rainbow trout. It's 2% nitrogen, 3% phosphate, and 1% potash. But it's liquid, and I've got this little siphon here. It's a Hosen siphon. I got it from Johnny's Selected Seeds. And then you just stick this into the barrel when you're watering, and it siphons up enough, because I'm just using it on a mist. So just about every other day, it'll just get a fine mist of that in between the sprinklers to try to help some of that fertilizer stay in there. So for the irrigation system in the hoop house here, it's like I said, ran off a solenoid valve, but then I've just got a little connection going into the, you want to come closer to the box, I'll show you. So this is just some extra wire that I had when I pulled it, but this right here is a solenoid valve. So there's a 1-inch PVC coming in and then 1-inch PVC coming out, and this is an electrically controlled valve with a plunger in it. So right now it's closed. You can manually open it by turning it like that, but also these wires are low voltage, and it can have a signal come from the controller in the barn, and then also open that up. But once it leaves a 1-inch PVC on this side, to go to something simple like the 4-inch pop-up sprinklers, I've just transferred that over to the 1/2-inch poly pipe right here. But this is really easy to connect into. You can buy the little barbed fittings that are tees. So I'm just going to tee off from right here and then run my sprinklers into that other house when I'm ready. Probably like, I don't know, next week or so. Because right now I'm just doing it all manually, but as things get bigger, I can trust the sprinklers a little bit more. So on about January 20th, I planted some seeds up here. We had a little bit of warm weather. There was a day where it got up to be about 70. So I wanted to take advantage of that, try to get some germination on some of the quick growing greens and radishes. We have gotten some germination. So this is Mizuna. The Mizuna is Asian mustard green. I used the Earthway seeder for this with like the turnip and broccoli cabbage plate. It does run it out pretty thick, but Mizuna doesn't really mind that much. And you cut it very often, like maybe when the weather's good, like once every other week. And then also we let it go to flower. And I didn't use fertilizer on the super early planting just because I don't want all of that, because the ground is so wet right now that I don't think that it would be able to plant would really be able to metabolize all that nutrient, and then I feel like it would just kind of get run off. So these are all quick growing, radish and greens that don't require a lot of fertility, and so that's why I'm using this first section just for A, to try to get something to market, and B, it's not a huge risk. The seeds aren't that expensive, so it'd be good for it to also hold together the soil during this wet season right now, instead of losing some of our topsoil to like erosion and runoff. I think it goes to golden frills right here. You see how it changes from purple right there, and then it goes to green?
Mm-hmm.
So I think on the left there, scarlet frills, and then on the right is the golden frills.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
So along the edge of the garden here, I've got mugwort and mountain mint, which are some pretty sturdy perennials. The thing is, we did have like a 6-degree day or two, actually 3 days I think, at 4 degrees out here. So a lot of the perennials are kind of struggling right now. We'll see what comes back. But right here we do have a little bit of mountain mint. Check this out. I hope the mugwort comes back, but you know, I also bought a couple seed packets already this year and have been planting those out, and so hopefully we'll have a bunch. You know, I like to grow because it gets real tall. It's also flexible, has cool usages and effects medicinally. So we used that to make the world's largest smudge stick last year. This year I'm gonna go for the world's largest wreath. Okay, like maybe as big as that barn. That's what we're going for, as tall and wide as that barn. So it's going to be a big event. You know, I hope everyone can make it out for that. We're going to need a lot of hands on there decorating with the little flowers and stuff like that. We're going to have our whole room, the wreath room, we're going to have our whole flower room filled up with dried flowers. Something that's real exciting. But you can use mugwort to make little wreaths as well, little broomsticks, you know, decorations and stuff like that. Good up here.
Mountain mint.
And you wouldn't know it, but that shed right there is actually our fully functioning walk-in cooler that I'm currently using as a germination chamber. Okay?
Cool Prius.
So I bought this used, the shed, the outer shell, I think for like 500 bucks. And then cost me like another 900 to turn it into a walk-in cooler after that. So I think all in all, this cooler cost me about $1,500. Now I went on Craigslist and got this 4-inch foam insulation, and that was just used insulation from warehouses, right? So you use those because they come at 4x8 pieces. So there's a lot less cutting when you're doing the 4-inch instead of like 1-inch or 2-inch. And then once I got those insulated pieces down, I sealed it all up with some plywood and then some fresh, you know, exterior, interior paint to kind of lock it all in. Added in added in the window unit and the cool bot. But anyway, right now we're using it as a germination chamber. So I've moved in some racks in here. You see this one right here? This tray's going. So this germination chamber works really nicely. It stays very humid and warm in here. I've got the heater set to 67 degrees.
Is it on right now?
It's thermostatically controlled. Okay. It means that it only runs when it needs to. So the thermostat has its own little switch in there that turns off the heater. So I'm going to finish off today by going into that house and making the second set of tunnels and do some more seeding. You know, it's really exciting this time of year. Springtime is around the corner. In my mind, it's already springtime, but it's like an artificial springtime to get ready for the real springtime. If you're sticking around, don't forget, please like and subscribe, you guys. Okay?
God.
Please like and subscribe. All right, you don't want to miss what's coming next.